Hi everybody, it's Aiden Zhane from RuPaul's Drag Race Season 12. I am going to be recreating my entrance look into the workroom. The look is very classic Aiden Zhane. When people think of me, this is going to be the face, the hair, everything that they think of. So watch me go from this to this. First things first, I like to just, put on a nice little wig cap, make sure my hair is pulled back. Not that I have much of it, but gotta have a nice clean area. And I like to keep my brows shaved off, so I don't have to worry about blocking them out or gluing them down. For my foundation, I just like to use a full coverage paint stick because I am a man and I need to cover up everything. I am just going to use just a little cheap makeup sponge to just blend this out. I'm not one of these girls who worries about a beauty blender or whatever. I don't care if it's cheap as long as it gets the job done. The fastest I think that I've ever done my makeup, and I wouldn't recommend it, but I'd say probably about half an hour. But I like to take my time. I'm one of these girls who halfway through, I like to stop, have a drink, listen to some music. Normally I would say it takes me about 2 hours though. Getting into makeup is actually my least favorite part of doing drag. It could be my first time doing it in a month, and I'm still gonna be like, I don't want to. I like the result once it's done, but getting in is not the tea. Not for me anyways. My next step, I like to paint on my cheek contour, and I generally just use a paint stick. And I think when people tend to think of my face, they think of everything as very angled and like straight up. So my cheeks, my eyes, everything, I love to like paint at like a severe angle. And then again, we are just going to blend that out. I'm not so much a legitimate woman. I'm a bit of a cartoon character. I like to think that I look sort of alien-like, sort of sci-fi. I think it's my face really that pulls together a lot of my looks. After cheeks are done, I like to go in and start my highlight, painting it at a very severe angle. If I were at home painting, I would probably have a nice playlist on, something to get me in the mood for performing, so maybe some Marilyn Manson or whatever I happen to be, performing that night. Listening to, my lip sync song on repeat, making sure I have those lyrics down. Next, we are going to go in and give a little highlight to the lower cheek, right underneath the contour. Now it's time to set it all. I just like to use a nice translucent powder. Beat that face. Make sure you pack it in there. Get everything nice and set. Because if you don't, you're gonna end up looking greasy and chunky. Doing my face for my entrance look on the show, I really wanted to stick to something that was just very classic me, very simple, and something that I knew I would look good doing. I didn't want to walk into that workroom, first impression, looking a fool. And next, go in and add to that contour with a nice pressed powder. I like to also use this pressed powder to sort of define, it's sort of like your temple area right here in your head, because my highlight goes so high right above my highlight. I don't generally tend to worry too much about the top of my forehead because my wigs tend to like cover that anyway. Also, I like to go in with that on my jawline just to give a little bit of darkness, a little bit of definition to separate it from, the neck area. It's subtle, but it's something that makes a difference. Next, I am going to go back in with my cream highlight, which is my Clown White, just to help give, I like, to have my cheeks more defined, so just to give a nice white line under that contour. And you wanna be careful when you do this, because using grease on top of the powder after you've already set can get messy real quick. I do love a good horror movie. I think that's the thing that I liked about the way I started painting my face, was it gives a very sort of bitchy, wicked vibe without being, like too much. I don't have to put on, black lipstick and look goth to look dark or, whatever. I can also have bright pink, but still look, like I might stab somebody. Now that my contour and highlight and all of that is done, I am going to move on with lining my eyes. The very first thing that I like to do before I start, eyeshadow and all of that. Instead of extending it so much out, I like to kind of bring it straight up. I also have a shaky hand, so if you're like me, you gotta really take your time. So we'll just map it out like that. Now we are going to go in with a red eyeshadow. Let's start with this red right here in the crease of the eye. And then I just like to take my brush and slowly work and blend that upward to sort of match the height of this little wing outline that we have going on here. And now we are going to go in and add the black on my lid and sort of, bring that up into the red. Again, just sort of applying it right where your crease is at to start with. And just coat your whole lid in black. And then I like to take it and sort of just start shaping it upward into that wing blueprint that we did earlier. And then because I'm not a professional, I kind of have to go back and forth a little bit. We're gonna go back in with a little bit of red just to brighten things up a bit. We're gonna go in with a black liquid liner, and we're going to basically just go right over top of the black eyeshadow that we just did and coat that all. Now that your wings are looking nice and dark, I'm gonna go back in again with my pencil liner and do my waterline and sort of just finish shaping things up and getting it looking correct. I am going to go back in with that same red, again, just brighten things up a little bit more on top and add a little bit just under your eye as well to sort of just add something a little extra, I guess. I don't know. Don't ask me, I'm not a professional. I'm on this ride with you. If there was one part of my makeup that is very just specific to me and really just kind of creates my face, it's definitely my eye shape. I don't think there's very many girls who paint their wing almost straight up to the damn sky. Pretty much every time I get in dry, it gets a little bit of a panic until she's finished. I'm like, oh, okay, it did work out, there she is. Now that my eyes are, for the most part, done, I am going to move down and we are going to line the lips first. I have very small lips, so I like to exaggerate that and sort of put an outline for where my new lips are gonna go. Like so. And now that they're lined and we have our new lip shape, we can go in with, whatever color and fill that in. Today it's gonna be red. I say red, but it's more of like a plum, I guess. And we went from no lips to big lips. going to use the same liner that we used to outline my lips, my eyes, and we're going to use it on the brows. Much like everything else on my face, I like everything sort of reaching up to my scalp. Brows are actually my least favorite thing to do when it comes to like makeup in general. I hate doing my brows. I hate getting them symmetrical. So wish me luck on this. I started shaving my brows off completely probably a few years ago. I just did it one day just to see what it was like and fell in love with how much easier things are for painting. And I sort of just never went back. I'm not somebody who really cares about not having them as a boy, I guess. Plus I wear glasses and it sort of hides it anyway, so. After I have sort of sketched on one brow, I like to go in with a nice, sharp, thin brush and sort of use it to sculpt and blend out that liner. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. We're gonna go back in a little bit and sort of line the bottom of it in white. So if things are a little bit messy, it's all right, don't panic. I like to do one brow at a time. So next we are going to go underneath that with my clown white and sort of just fill in this space between my brow and my eye makeup and really just kind of connect the two almost. And I like to just use my finger to sort of pat that out and blend it into that red down there. We are going to go in and add a nose contour because I like to keep everything very sculpted. We don't want to keep this regular nose. We're going to use a pressed powder and a little cheap dollar store paintbrush that I have had with me since the beginning of doing drag years ago. And as you can see, it has broke and I have glued it back together multiple times because it is perfect. I've never found anything else that I like using as much as this brush. So I will glue it back together as many times as I need to. I think most girls like to, do their nose contour at the same time that they do their cheeks and everything else. But I don't like to use grease or do it prior to everything. I've always found that it's easier for me to go in with a pressed powder and almost always do it last. I think over the years, my makeup has definitely evolved from one thing to another. When I first started off, I think I tried to keep things more natural or feminine or whatever. But as time went on, I sort of just started enjoying, this more angled, this more exaggerated makeup style because I don't know, I think it just really works with my face. It's always a learning process. You're always changing things. Don't get stuck in one way of doing things. The last thing that I like to do before moving on and putting on lashes and everything else is I like to just go back in, sort of, make sure my contour's good, sort of touch everything up one last time. I also like to add just a little bit of blush here, right above my contour to just tie in that space in between the highlight and the contour. I'm just gonna go in one more time and sort of define that under area again with my white to make sure everything's nice and clean. Now it's time for mascara and then lashes. I like to use a little bit of a hair bonding glue. Just put it right there on my fingertip and take the lash and sort of just dip it in the glue right along the edges. I like to use little baby lashes. I don't need no 301 stacked on my face. I think a lot of queens, prefer just bigger, more exaggerated lashes, but I've always just I've always just preferred smaller lashes. I like the way it looks on my face, and that is enough of a reason for me. Let those dry for a second. And then I just go back in with a little bit of mascara to bond my real lashes with my false lashes. And I think that about wraps things up. I am going to go and get in my full look and bring everything together, and I will be right back. This is my entrance look from season 12 of RuPaul's Drag Race. I love this look because it's very classic Aiden Zhane. I think when a lot of people think of me, they think of this cropped black wig, they think dark, sexy, a little bit horror. I hope you enjoyed watching me paint my face. I hope to see you guys in the future. Come and watch my shows!
Subscribe to the VH1 YouTube channel so you don't miss any of RuPaul's Drag Race.